All right, well, good morning, everyone, and welcome back to another exciting day in mathematics. Whoop, whoop. How's everybody doing? Good? Good break, yes? A lot of turkey and ham, tamales, and pozole, and all that stuff. Well, some of you that are a little bit more picky, you probably did, pizza? Here you go. Anyways, warm-up 55's on the screen. Where we left off last week, something very similar to that. Let's see how you do with that. Copy and go. All right, double check with your neighbor, see what you got. So like that, Brandon can get us started with number 1. Oh yeah, we got this. Warm up number 55. All right, let's see. What'd you get for number 1? Brandon, Darty. Parentheses, -4. 4 bracket. Let's see, 1, 2, 3, 4. -1, -2, -3, -4. Looks about right. Hands if you got something like that. All right. So he went straight for the interval notation, but it says here a compound inequality. Pass someone, Brandon, so they can give us the compound inequality. And I get to pick again. All right, Brandon Darty, inequality. -4. Oh, sorry. Less than, you said? X less than or equal to 4. Hands if you got something like that. That is correct. Let's go. Number 2. For the sake of time, cross multiply. So this is -3 times x plus 2 equals that times that. X squared minus 4 times 1 is x squared minus 4. And then we need to get everything to one side. But before I do, let me distribute this. This is -3x minus 6 equals x squared minus 4. So far, so good, yeah? And then plus 3x plus 6 plus 3x plus 6. So I end up with 0 equals x squared plus 3x plus 2. So far, so good, yes? Yes, Mr. Q. All right. So tell your neighbor what to do from there, and then I'll pass it to someone. What do I do from there? All right, good conversations. Man, I wonder how it was at your house over the break with all these conversations. Hey, you guys should have made it like a family math night or something. Show them the study guide. Let's go. All right, what do I do from there? Anthony, D. Power Ranger thing. 2, 3. Factors of 2 that add up to 3. 1 and 2. So my factors are x plus 1, x plus 2. What do I do from there? Anthony, E. Both equal to 0. X plus 1 equal to 0. X plus 2 equal to 0. Solve. X equals -1. X equals -2. Hands if you got something like that. All right, but we need the 4 names. Tell your neighbor the 4 names of those, please. 4 names. Then Anthony's going to pass them one. All right, pass on one, Anthony. Danny, go. Zeros. X-intercepts. roots, solutions. Hands, have you got that? All right, so far so good. Let's go to the graph here. We need a function, f of x, or we start with y equals mx plus b, then f of x equals blank x blank. Tell your neighbor what you got before Danny passes it to someone. What'd you get for that one? All right, Danny, go. Me? I get to pick? All right, Danny, go. 1 1/2. Okay, but before it was 1 1/2, I want it in fraction form. 3/2 minus 3. So f of x equals 3/2x minus 3. That is correct. Hands, have you got something like that? All right. And last but not least, inverse function. Let's see if you remember how to do this part. Check with the neighbor, see what the first step, second step, and third step are before I get someone to help us out with that one. What do I do first? Pass someone, Danny? Who? Dom, go. You said change f of x back to y. That is correct. All right, so far so good. What is my next step? Rylan. Minus 12, that is correct. To both sides. So y minus 12 equals negative 2x. Continue, Anthony D. Divide by negative 2, divide by negative 2. So what is all that process called, guys, that we just did? Solve for what? For x. Yes, that is correct. So we're left with y minus 12 over negative 2 equals x. All right. Now we need to make, that's not the inverse yet, right? Tell your neighbor what's going to make it the inverse. What's going to make it an inverse? Inverse. What makes it the inverse? Anthony D, pass someone. That's the last step. Yes, swap the variables, yes? So we end up with x minus 12 over negative 2 equals y. Now it's an inverse, but we need it in what notation? Function, right? So then x minus 12 over negative 2 equals f of x. But in order to know that it's the inverse, we put a little negative 1 on top like that. Yes? All right. And if you notice, there was one of those on your study guide, right? Over the break? When you got your family together? Gather around. Let me show you what we learned. Let's go. All right. Copy the agenda for today. Here we go. Agenda, warm-up number 55, transforming functions. And tonight's home play, it's 2 problems, which is in transformations. But from the study guide, you're going to work on numbers 1 through 7 only. Numbers 1 through 7. Work on the ones that you know. Put a star on the ones that you have questions, because we're going to go over those tomorrow in class. Let me repeat that again. For the study guide, work on the problems that you know. Work them out. Finish them off. But the ones that you might have questions on, put a little question mark or asterisk, and we'll do those in class. Okay? Thank you, Mr. Q. You're welcome. I got you. So, let me move this over here, and let me get, this is being recorded, by the way. Let me show you the map to see where we're at so far. I mean the calendar. Okay, look up to the screen. So we're here, 27. This week, we're going to finish the study guide. We're going to go over the entire study guide. Today, we're going to finish one more lesson, which is being recorded right now. But for the rest of the week, we're going to finish the study guide, which means next week is our semester final. So you know what I just said? Yeah, so next week, I'm going to reserve all that week because some of you are out for games or extracurricular activities, whatnot. All that week is to test and to do makeup for those that were absent. However, the last week of before we go to Christmas break, which is from the 11th to the 14th, that week I'm going to be correcting finals, and hopefully by the Thursday before we leave, I'll have your semester overall grade already posted. Let's go. So, and just in case you forgot, look up to the screen. Your final is only 20% of your grade. Only. Oh, let me put only. Which means it's how many letter grades? Tell your neighbor. Yeah, 2. Bam. No retakes. No retakes. Either you know it or you don't. So make sure you stay focused. And also a reminder, you guys know that there's tutoring, right? Like here with me, in the library, other places. There's a bunch of tutoring all over campus. Yes? All right, just wanted to make sure everybody knew that, and it's being recorded. All right, copy this code for today's presentation, and also I'm including the study guide in there again. So when you type in that code on Nearpod, 73FLT, it's going to take you to this presentation. However, right after when I show the home play what it is, you're going to have a PDF viewer with the study guide in there. Again. So make sure you work on numbers 1 through 7 tonight. Tonight's home play looks like this. Bam! Let's go. Oh yeah, we got this. All right, get a Cornell note ready, please. I can transform a function using different parameters. I can transform a function using different parameters. And by now you should have grabbed 2 graph papers from the back. You're going to need them. Make sure you have at least 2 or 3 different colors for the graphing and transformations. All right, give you some time to set up your notes. Go. Okay, y'all ready? Here we go. I know, right? I can transform a function using different parameters. So this is going to be our last lesson before we get started with our study guide and get ready for our semester final coming up next week. And just to recap, functions. Let's see. Move that turkey and gravy and stuff on your noodle. Right here with the definition of functions. Definition of functions. Functions. Definition. David, go. That for every input there's an output. Okay, I'll take that. Exactly 1 output for each input. And then parameters. We talked about parameters. Yes, it's a number that when you do something to a function, given that number, it makes a new function. And then I gave you guys this as your general rule. Yes, so far so good. All right, write it down one more time on your paper, please. You're like, oh man, yes. It's going to keep coming back. I just want to make sure we got it. G of x equals f of, parentheses, x minus h plus k. As you're writing it down, tell your neighbor what k does to the entire function. What does k do to the entire function? What does k do to the entire function, Laura? And moves it up or down. So draw an arrow up and down like so. And going upward, put a little positive. And going downward, it's a negative. So therefore, whenever you substitute a value that's positive there, it makes it move up. When you substitute a negative value there, it makes it move down. Okay? With that said, tell your neighbor what h does to the entire function. What does h do to the entire function? All right, what does h do to the entire function, Kimberly? Side to side, so draw an arrow side to side like so. And then to move it to the right, it should be a what, everyone? To move it to the right, it should be a what? Yeah, it's gonna keep the negative, but we substitute a positive value in there. So put a plus like so, and I'll show you right now. And then to move it to the left, it's a negative. Now this is where your noodle, some of you are like, what? Yeah, look up. So watch. So if I wanted to move something, what stays there? A negative. The negative is part of the form. If I wanted to move a function 5 steps to the right, that means I need to substitute a positive what? 5 in here. So I substitute a positive 5. That means this is going how many steps? 5 to the right. However, if I wanted to move to the left, I'm going to substitute a what? A negative 5. So if I substitute a negative 5 and there's already a negative there, negative times a negative becomes a positive. That's why we go to the left. All right? So be careful with that. All right? So then from there, we covered up and down. Yes? Does this look familiar? Yes. Side to side? Yes. Then we did these on the screen on Nearpod? Yes. And then we did these. However, I want to revisit this one again. So on your graph paper, the big one, get that in front of you. Copy example 23, Mr. Q, at the top left, and write graph f of x equals x squared. And right now I'm going to cover these up, copy that, and that so far. We're going to do that together. I'll give you some time. Go. All right, let's see if we remember. Remember the first thing you do when they ask you to graph a function. What is the first thing you do? Look at it. They don't give us any more information but that. And then we'll have Brandon Felix enlighten us. What is the first thing we do to graph a function when they don't give us any other information? What do we do? All right. What do we do, Brandon Felix? In order to graph that, what shall I do? What's the first thing? Yep. All right, help him out, Jacob. Yeah, get a table started. X, f of x. And he said -2, -1, 0, 1, 2. Story of my life. We should have a karaoke before we go to Christmas break, huh? Let's go. Nah, I'm dangerous. I don't let go of the mic. I don't know. All right, here we go. So what's the first value that we're going to use? -2 in here. So what is -2 squared, everyone? -2 times -2 is 4. Next one, -1 squared is 1. 0 squared, 0. 1 and 4. Let's plot those. -2, 4. -1, 1. 0, 0. 1, 1. 2, 4. And then from left to right. Whoa, that was crooked. Okay, let me start all over. Story of my life. From left to right. Remember, always going from left to right is our one direction. See what I did there? Pretty good. And we're gonna we're gonna label this f of x. F of x. All right. Now that we have our graph, it says transform according to this. So I'm going to use green. So before I do, tell your neighbor what's going to happen according to that. What's going to happen according to that. Remind them. All right, Jacob, pass on one. David, what's going to happen? 9 down. All 5 points, 9 down. So let's do that. We got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. 9, 9, and 9. All right. There it is. And we're going to label this one g of x. All right. So far, so good? Yes, Mr. Q. All right. So let me pause the tunes for a little bit. And that's where we left off before we went to break. Is that correct? And everybody's like, oh, Q, I got this. Okay. But now, today we're going to add the next step, which is writing our new function. Our new function. So write your utensils down. Look up to the screen. Ready? All right. So our new function became what? G of x equals, look up. What did I do? Well, I took f of x, and what did I do to f of x? I subtracted 9, or that means I moved it 9 steps down. Are we there so far? All right, so before you write that down, look up to the screen. I'm not done, though. G of x equals, before I moved to 9 steps, what is f of x? Well, f of x has a what? An exponent. So I'm going to write f of x to the second power minus 9. And this is my new function. Copy that, please. Not bad, right? We just added 2 more little steps. Yeah, we got this. Okay, so next, this is what I want you to do. I want you to write in red f of x inside with x, you're going to put minus 4, close parentheses. So we don't need to regraph it because we already have the original function. There it is. Tell your neighbor what's going to happen with that red 1. What's going to happen with that red transformation? All right. Good conversations. Noah, what's going to happen? It's going to move where? 4 to the right. 4 to the right. That is correct. So we go 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. We're going to label that g of x equals, and I'll let you finish that one up and rewriting it. Give you some time. Go. All right. Look up to the screen. So you should have written g of x equals f of x minus 4. Is that correct? Close parentheses. And then underneath that, you should have written g of x equals f of x minus 4 to the second power. Hands if you got that. That is correct. So make sure you get that there. All right. So, let me pause the tunes. So here goes a challenge. Y'all ready? I'm going to do that in blue. F of x plus 6, close parentheses. Check this out. Plus 3. Oh, let's go. Look at it. Tell your neighbor what's going to happen to the original now according to that. Tell your neighbor what's going to happen to the original according to that. Then we're going to have Maya enlighten us. What's going to happen to the original according to that? Looks like Kimberly's got it. Very good. Kimberly. Yeah, very good. Ryland. Let's go, Ryland. Miroslava's got it, I think so. Right, Miroslava? All right, good. All right. Maya, A, what's going to happen to the original according to this? Let's go. Left 6, up 3. Hands if you agree with that. That is correct. So, left 6, up 3. So I'm going to start with this one. Left 6, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. And up 3, 1, 2, 3. Let me go to the next point. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Up 3, 1, 2, 3. Next one. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Up 3, 1, 2, 3. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. 1, 2, 3. And the last one. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. 1, 2, 3. And that one we're going to label g of x, which becomes g of x equals to what? So you never your final function for that blue one, final function for that blue one, written. Final function for that blue one. And then I think Vianney's got this one. Very good, Vianney. All right, good conversations. All right, tell me what to write, Vianney. G of x equals f parentheses x plus 6 squared plus 3. Hands if you got that. That is correct. Let's go. From 1 to 5, how comfortable are you with this? Pretty good, right? All we needed to do is add the new function to each of those. Okay? So, and that brings us to this next portion. Copy that table on your Cornell notes, please. Underneath where you wrote your general transformation rule. Copy the table. I'll give you some time. It's going to go pretty fast. I'll give you some time for that. Copy and go. So if you notice on the left side of the first column, it says function type. And they give us linear, quadratic, and cubic. So far, do you agree that I've introduced those three so far up to right now? Have we been working with those? Yes, Mr. Q. All right. So reminder, the linear is always going either in that direction or in that direction. Yes? The quadratic, it's either a parabola. Right now we've only seen it like this. And the cubic, we've only seen it like this. I'll talk about more of the other part in a little bit. So far so good, yes? So, Here's the notation for it. F of x equals x, that's the linear. F of x equals x squared, that's the quadratic. F of x equals x cubed, that's the cubic. So, to rewrite a function using the general rule, according to the transformation, we already did it with graphing, so now we're just going to do it with words. Here they say, translate up 3 steps. So, we no longer write f of x, because we're doing a transformation. What do we write now? Well, we write our rule. Let's write our rule. G of x equals f of x minus h plus k. So, question, where do I write the 3 if I'm going up 3 steps? Tell your neighbor where to write it in here if we're going up 3 steps. If we're going up 3 steps, where does it go here? All right? Where do we write it, Selena? On K, yes. So right here. So write it underneath, right there. So question, look up to the screen. Do they give us an H? No, because we don't go side to side, so that means, look up, once you write this, whatever they don't give you, erase it. And whatever you have left, that's going to be our new function according to the transformation. So what did we take out? The negative h, because there's no h. So we're left with g of x equals f of x plus 3. And that's our new function for this one. Let's go to the next one. It says, translate 2 steps to the right and 4 steps down. So let's write our general rule. G of x equals f of x minus h plus k. Tell your neighbor what goes where. All right, share with your neighbor, and then Miroslava is going to enlighten us. 2 steps to the right, 4 steps down. What goes where? All right, Miroslava, what goes where? The 2 steps to the right goes where? H, yes. How about 4 steps down? But what do I write? Sorry, I couldn't hear. Minus 4, that is correct. So my new function is g of x equals f of x minus 2 minus 4. However, look up to the screen. What kind of function is this? Quadratic. So don't forget the little squared right there. So with that said, write me the last one for the cubic. Last one for the cubic. All right. Check with the neighbor, see what they wrote where, and their final equation. Then we'll have someone help us out from over here. Well, we ain't called on in a while. Who? Who, Jacob? Who haven't we called on? Martin's not here, so then David. All right, final equation, David. Hands if you got that. That is correct. If we are going left and we need to substitute -3 in here, -3 times negative of +3, it's a cubic, and then 2 steps up. All right. So from 1 to 5, I'll come to right there. Okay, 5 fourths, 5 fourths, okay. All right. So set that aside. Look at this next step. I'm going to do a quick intro. Look up. If I was to graph this, tell your neighbor once again, what is the first thing we do? Tell your neighbor, please. Yeah, make a table from -2, -1, 0, 1, 2. Substitute that into the original function. So this is 4, 1, 0, 1, 4. So -2, 4, -1, 1, 0, 0, 1, 1, 2, 4. Look up to the screen, please. This is my original f of x. All right. What do you guys notice different on this one now? That there's a what? A 2 at the beginning. And it's multiplying because it's right next to that. So look what it's going to do to my new function. Look up. 2. So instead of being, let's see, 1, 1, 2, instead of being at 4, this point, instead of being at 4, I'm going to move it to this one. Instead of being at 1, I'm going to move it to this one. Instead of being at 1, it's moving to, and this one, instead of being at 4, it's moving to, what do you call that, guys? If you were to tell your little person in your world, what happens to the original to get this? What do you think happens to it? Yeah. Oh my goodness. Instead of using numbers, what would you say? It happens to the... Yeah, it stretches. That is correct. It's stretch. Stretch. Look up before you pack up. So if this 2, look up, stretches it, what do you think this fraction in the front does to the original? Tell your neighbor. If the 2 stretches it, what does the half do to it? Yeah, compresses. It compresses. And we'll stop right there. Once again, make sure you do your home play. Also, numbers 1 through 7 from the study guide. Have a good one. See you guys tomorrow. Bye.